Hello clarinet players. This video will help you learn how to assemble your clarinet. So first, your clarinet case should either be on the floor or on a table that doesn't really have anything else on it. The logo on your case should face the ceiling, and the handle should be closer to you. Then you can unlatch the case and open it, just like this. And the very first thing you should do is take a reed and gently take it out of the case. This is the most delicate part of the instrument, so be very careful not to touch it, especially up here. That's the most delicate part, the tip. Here's the tip of the reed. Just try not to touch it ever. You can hold it down here where it's thicker. And the first thing you should do is soak your reed. So you put it in your mouth on top of your tongue, like this. And just let it sit there for the whole time that you're assembling your clarinet. It won't play very well if it's not very wet. You need it nice and wet. So don't chew on it, don't suck on it, just let it sit there. Since I need to talk to you, and it's rude to talk with your reed in your mouth, I'm not going to soak mine right now. But you should put yours in your mouth. If you have a new clarinet, or if your corks on your clarinet are kind of tight and you know it's hard to put the pieces together, you should take some cork grease. It will either look like a tube of chapstick or a little pot. It'll be a little pot of cork grease. And you can take some of that and apply that to the corks. So you would just take a little bit, and just put it right on any place you see cork. And you can rub it in with your finger. If you get it all over your fingers, wipe your hands off or wash them before you actually put the clarinet together. So we are going to build this like we are building a house. We're going to start at the bottom, the basement. Take your bell out of your case. It's called a bell because it looks like a bell. You should put this on your leg. I'm not going to put it on my leg because you won't be able to see it. I'm going to put mine right on this nice big table. The next piece you should take out is the lower joint. The lower joint is a little longer than the upper joint. It has a thumb rest on the back. That's how you know it's the lower joint. Hold it at the bottom where there aren't too many keys. You don't really want to press the keys down, and you want to really avoid touching the rods with your whole hand. Don't put it together like that. You want to be nice and gentle. And twist and push it onto the bell. Just like that. The next piece we're going to use is the upper joint. It also has a lot of keys like the lower joint, but it doesn't have a thumb rest. The upper joint, as you can see, has all of these keys hanging over the bottom cork. Give you a little close-up. You see how they're kind of in the way of the cork? This key right here, it's not really a key, it's just a piece of metal. That's the bridge. This connects the upper joint to the lower joint. That's how the keys work together. And if you just shove the upper joint onto the lower joint without moving the bridge, you can break that key or bend it. So what you do is you can press, you see this metal key that's not an open circle, it's closed. You can press that and the circle below it. You can move the bridge key like that. Do you see how it's moving? Find these keys on your clarinet and make sure your bridge key moves. This is the only time you should press keys while you're assembling your instrument. So you hold those down so the bridge is up, and then you carefully twist and push it onto the lower joint. So the bridge has to meet with the other side of the bridge. So you can see, you can't see, there you go. Right here is where the bridge should line up. There's a part of it is on the lower joint, right here. And that's the part that's on the upper joint. You should meet just like that. And in the back, you can see that the thumb rest lines up with the thumb key on the upper joint and that long skinny register key on the upper joint. That's how that should be lined up. The next piece you should take is the barrel. It looks like a barrel. Twist and push it onto the upper joint. And the last few pieces are parts of the mouthpiece. So if you have a mouthpiece cap on, take that off. And you should have a ligature. Gently take that off and put it aside. And gently twist and push the mouthpiece onto the barrel. The open part of the mouthpiece, you see where there's that hole here? That's where your reed's going to go, and it should be lined up with the register key. That's how you know you did it right. It should line up. If you have a metal ligature like this, the screws are going to go on the side of the mouthpiece where the hole is. So right now you should still have your reed in your mouth. Take it out of your mouth and lick that open part of the mouthpiece. That helps create a better seal between the reed and the mouthpiece. And your reed should be quite soaked right now. Take your reed and put it on that open part of the mouthpiece. You shouldn't have reed sticking up above the mouthpiece. You shouldn't see a bunch of black mouthpiece above the reed. They should be perfectly lined up. Now take your ligature and gently put it over the reed. You want your ligature, I'll show you up close a little better. You want your ligature to be below the slanted part of the mouthpiece. And if you have a metal ligature, the screws should be right on top of where the reed is. And notice how my ligature is on that bottom part of the reed. It's not thin part, it's all the way down at the bottom. And now you can tighten those screws. I'm going to center mine a little bit better. And at this point, when your ligature is on, you can push the reed around from the sides. So you can push it up or down if you need to. You can move it side to side. It's important that this is lined up. If it's not, it won't really play very well. And turn the screws and tighten it. The ligature should kind of hug the reed. You don't want to strangle it. You just want it to be nice and snug. So you shouldn't have taken these pieces off of your clarinet. So right now your clarinet should look like this. And your reed should still be lined up with the register key because you lined up that open part of the mouthpiece with the register key. And that is how you assemble your clarinet. Remember to assemble from the bottom up like you're building a house, from the basement to the roof. When you take it apart, take the reed off first and put it in your reed case before you do anything else because it is really delicate. You don't want to break it. And then take the top off, work on the top piece, eventually put the bell in last. And that is how you assemble a clarinet.